Really gritty, emotional win. Really proud of our guys. Got a lot of respect for this Indiana team. I think they're really talented, a bona fide NCAA tournament team. I know they've hit some struggles, but got a lot of respect for their talent and for the job Mike's doing and his staff is doing. And I just thought our guys were phenomenal in the closing 2 or 3 minutes. We were, we had some guys struggling physically, to be honest with you. And, their defense has something to do with it. But we did have some guys struggling physically. But 22 wasn't struggling.
Chris, this isn't the first game you've had that's gone down to the wire. It's not the first game that you've had to figure some things out in the final seconds. Did you learn anything new about your team in the way this one transpired?
No, I think, Adam, we've just got to make sure that we're doing as good a job as we can getting the ball to our playmakers. And sometimes that changes. EJ was struggling getting to his spots tonight. And then our playmakers have to make the right read. And 22 was a fantastic playmaker tonight, both for himself and for others. So I give Malachi a lot of credit. But it was really simple. I thought we executed exceptionally well in the last 2 minutes. Really, really well. And I want to give our crowd a benefit, a lot of love. I thought our crowd was great the last really 10 minutes when we needed it. I thought there was a stretch of the game where they got a little bit of momentum, and I could feel our guys get a little frustrated, maybe even a little, just frustrated. We're missing shots, and we just tried to keep it really simple and keep it in our playmakers' hands. And our execution on offense and on defense was good. But it's been good all year late, to be honest with you. Like I said, with the exception of 2 games.
So with a minute 23 to go, or whatever it was, when Indiana comes out of the timeout, EJ gets the steal. How big of a moment was that? It's maybe kind of an obvious question, but for them, Mike Woodson was lamenting that at length in here.
Yeah, I thought EJ did a great job. I really want to give EJ credit because EJ, asked to guard Trace, I thought he was able to give him different angles and keep a body on him. And Trace is such a phenomenal player that probably took a lot out and affected EJ's offense. But it was a big time deflection.
Chris, it kind of looked like you were just giving Malachi a ball screen and letting him kind of go from there at the end of the game. Was that kind of the gist of it? And I guess, how has your comfort level in putting him in those positions kind of developed over the course of the year? Yeah,
as you guys know, and as you know, Bill, watching us, we've evolved into that a lot here in the last month. Now, we weren't that way at the beginning of the year because his game wasn't at that point at the beginning of the year. It was still a little too fast for him. But we put him in a combination of single and double ball screens and then also ran him off some actions. It was about a combination of 3 or 4 set plays that all kind of finished looking similar, but they were a little bit different variations. About four different ones. And then the baseline underneath and overtime, EJ made a great individual play. We just tried to isolate him on that side.
Malachi was in here. He said, I try not to take bad shots, and I think that does kind of stand out about him. He just sort of knows how to get to his spots. His level of sort of understanding that as a true freshman, is that elevated for guys you've been around?
It is. His maturity level's elevated. I've said that all along. He's one of the most mature freshmen I've ever coached. Just in terms of across the board, just really high maturity level. And some of that's with his IQ and feel for the game, which has really grown in the last, really, if you saw us in Florida, you would say, okay, he's a completely different player. Those of you that were in Florida, you would say that right now. He is completely different. He's worked at it, and he's taken coaching, and he's taken criticism, and found a way to get better, and that's maturity, right? That's maturity. That's a sign of maturity. I'm not blaming anybody else. I'm accepting accountability. I'm going to find a way to get better. I'm going to really work at it, and that's a great sign of maturity.
Coach, how tangible was the momentum shift there at the end of regulation when you guys were in the huddle going into overtime, and what was the confidence level from you guys and your team at that point?
I think they were really confident. We were really glad we got it to overtime. They were up 4 with the ball with, a minute 23 or 24 to go, But it's still a long game. We just wanted to make them earn it in the half court and then quickly get into a couple actions that we talked about in the timeout. But we honestly didn't have the legs to really push it off of misses, where normally I'd like to have some freedom and push it off of misses. We just didn't have the speed or the legs to do that. But it was a long game, but it was, coming back, them with the ball, that didn't look great at that point.
And you wanted guys other than EJ to step up offensively, of course. And Eugene Brown had 10 points for you guys tonight. Yeah. How big was that lift for you?
I thought Gene was great. Jamari's 3 was huge. He's got to look to shoot even more. I thought Michi's readiness to shoot after overtime on the 3 was critical. So we needed that. But Gene's play overall was really good for us.
First, the last 10 seconds of regulation, I don't know. That would just seem like the best possible scenario. You got EJ and Malachi have the ball on offense, and then Jamari's the guy who's guarding Xavier at the. I don't know. Could you have drawn it up any better than that?
Yeah, no. It was. They knew what we were running. They didn't want to call a timeout. I did think about it though. You're thinking on the fly there, and I did think. I was very close to calling a timeout, but I'd rather not call a timeout in that situation if we can get organized quickly enough. And I thought we did get organized quickly enough. And I didn't love our defensive thrust after our make, but I thought Jamari was really good on the ball. I just thought our awareness could have been a little bit better.
And then with Malachi again, more of what Bill was asking, it seems like I think everybody knew he could score at this level once he kind of figured it out. But that ability to kind of know how to score, how to do it efficiently, it doesn't, even when nights he's not necessarily shooting well, it's more just, he just didn't make the shot that night. Then it's because he's shooting a bunch of bad shots. Is that a rare skill for that age to not necessarily be able to do it, but know how to do it?
Both. He's a talented kid, and he played kind of the wing and the foursome in high school. He was really well coached, but maybe didn't get the. I think we're seeing all of his kind of repertoire of ball skills, and he's really grown in that area too. He's got some guys really well coached in high school. He's got a great trainer in Jason Dawson. He's a really committed kid in terms of working on his skills and back to his maturity. But he can get to his spots as well as anybody I've coached.
Chris, you talked after the last game about, when to get guys rest, but Malachi and the freshman wall, obviously tonight was not an opportunity to do that, but he comes through. When you have a freshman who can continue to fight through things, he said he's feeling good, physically as much as anyone is. What does that do when a young guy can do that for you?
Yeah, he's I told you guys after the Iowa game, I played him more than I'd like to play him. It's not like I just want to try to keep him fresh, but we've just needed every minute from him and his ability to play make and have ball skills and make reads and get to his spots. With our team this year, sometimes Cedric can do that. We have some other guys that can do it at times, but he certainly can do it at the highest level right now.
And sort of a strange question, but is he the player he is right now if you guys have Justice capable of kind of taking that role over? And I know that's a bigger picture question, but...
It's a good question, but I would like to see what that was like.
Okay.
If you're giving me an option, I'd like to see Justice out there and see if Malachi figured it out. I think he probably would.
Well, I think it was the first or second game he makes a pass. I think it was also to EJ late in the game. Yeah. And was that something you guys, or to Zed, yes. Was that something you guys knew early on he could do? And
no, we put him in some of those spots early, but I don't think you know that until the lights are on fully. I don't think you fully know that till the lights are on.
After Iowa grabbed 20 offensive rebounds the other day, so Indiana comes in and gets 15. I know against Iowa you said you just felt like they hustled more, they got to more loose balls. Do you think that happened today? Do you think it was more long rebounds? Are there similarities between the two?
There were some long rebounds, but we got to get better at it. I mean, we got to get better at that. Like that's got to be more important to us than what it is right now. Bottom line, it's got to be more important to us than what it is right now. There are some that bounced over our heads. There were some long rebounds. Their size got us at times. But I've got to coach that better, and we've got to take more ownership in that. It's not acceptable right now.
Coach, coming off that Iowa loss, back at home, the short turnaround, how much does this win, kind of climbing out there, it looked like you might drop another game, how much does it mean to the team to kind of be able to pull out a win here?
I think it means a lot. We beat a good team. We beat a good team that had, time to, I don't know what all, if that's overrated, having time to prepare, but certainly they had a freshness to them. But we beat a good team. I just think it's a huge boost for us. I just think the poise, the composure, and the grit we showed late. There cannot be enough said about that with our guys. There just can't, and I'm super proud of them.
Chris, this isn't a team that's lost back-to-back games at all this season. What has allowed? Is it maturity? Is it what has allowed you guys to regroup and kind of build those?
EJ, Kyle, Justin, Jamari, our captains, Justice, those five guys. Your captains are the one that set the tone for that after a loss. So it's those guys set the tone in the locker room. I didn't mean to cut you off, but those guys set the tone in the locker room after a loss.
I guess kind of building up what Pat asked you earlier, you had talked about that freshman wall with Malachi, but when you see a performance like that, does that almost make you, start to ask him in practice and things like that, hey, are you sure you're feeling fine? Because he certainly didn't seem like he's hitting any sort of wall out there right now.
Yeah, and listen, if there's no wall, I'm good with that. Okay, so I'm not. Let's not make up a wall if there is no wall. I'm fine with there being no wall at any time. I just am aware of the amount of minutes I'm playing a young guy with young legs, and now we've asked him to do a lot more than what we did earlier in the year. And he's responded to times where he struggled. He struggled at Michigan early, and struggled defensively at times, guarding Brooks, and then he responded in the second half and was better on both ends. So I think we're going to continue to have those kind of moments from him. He's not going to be, this every night. It's too much to expect of a kid, but he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, all's well that ends well, obviously, but this was a little bit reminiscent of the other day when I think until that jam that Liddell had with 5 seconds left, I think he went 12 minutes and had one field goal. Just, I don't know, what were they doing over the course of that second half? After you got ahead by 11, they just kind of chipped away.
Is this the last question?
It is.
So we're going to leave on this question.
Okay, all right, scrap that.
Add one more question to this here. I'll answer this one.
Okay, do that one and somebody come up with something better than that. But
no, it's not. It's a good question. It's a fair question, but I need a better one to go home on. Yeah, I'd have to look at it. Steve. I don't know. I'd have to, I think we missed some shots. I think we didn't play with quite enough force, but they're a good defensive team, so give them credit. They're a really good defensive team. But I did not love our execution and our pace during that stretch. So I'd have to look at it. I just did not love. I didn't love our execution and pace. I thought we missed some open looks, and give their defense credit.
Given what's on the schedule next, I guess similar question from what was asked earlier. The magnitude of this kind of win to avoid a 2-game losing streak when you know what's coming next on the road and then another road trip right after that. I mean,
yeah.
To get this one, looking forward, I guess, what do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I think I try not to do that because you can drive yourself crazy. I mean, I'll just be spinning in my office and, immediately think of worst case scenarios and 5-game losing streaks. And, I think as much as anything, I have about 6 things that I write on my notes every game, okay? And they are things that are really, really important to me in life and in coaching. and staying in the moment is certainly one of them. I have something that I say that just tries to remind me to stay as present as possible. So this win was important, but I try not to look too far ahead, and we didn't wallow in the loss on Saturday either. You can't in this league. You got to move forward. All right, thanks, guys.